Hello, everyone. I am Amanda Williams, and we are going to be talking about magnesium and immunity today. This is a question that comes up quite often. People understand the importance of things like zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D when it comes to our immune system, but oftentimes they don't correlate the role that magnesium plays in immunity. So I wanted to highlight a couple of different facts that we know about magnesium in terms of magnesium deficiencies and insufficiencies in this country and how that may impact your overall immune health. So I'm going to talk about that. Just want to give you a reminder that all of our stores are open from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. and we are offering curbside pickup for your convenience. And if you are abiding by these strict guidelines and maybe you're working from home, you don't want to go out, we encourage you to do so, then do make sure that you check out our website, which is invitehealth.com. And from there, you can do a live video chat if you'd like, if you have specific questions. You can certainly reach out to any of our healthcare experts. We are here to help you get through this very challenging time. So let's talk a little bit about magnesium. Oftentimes people underestimate the true role that magnesium has in the human body. We know that magnesium is required, absolutely required, when it comes to over 300 different enzymatic processes in the body. So we're talking about different biological pathways. So when we recognize it in the setting of skeletal muscle, for example, people experience muscle cramps. Oftentimes it can be due to a lack of magnesium. We can look at it in terms of maintaining healthy blood pressure. And the reason why is because magnesium plays a critical role when it comes to the relaxation of our smooth muscles. So the smooth muscles, those line your blood vessels. So we want them to remain smooth and relaxed so that we get optimal blood flow through those vessels. If we're constricted, that's when blood pressure goes up. So if we're lacking magnesium, then it certainly makes sense that we could experience more vasoconstriction. Now, the same thing can happen when we think about our skeletal muscles. There is at a cellular level, an influx of magnesium and calcium and sodium that all go in and out of your cells, potassium as well. But we're not going to get into cell biology lesson here. I just want you to understand the important role that magnesium is actually playing. If you have over 300 different enzymatic processes that rely on magnesium, then you can start to understand the gravity of why magnesium is so critical. Now, here is the alarming thing. We know that just based off of dietary intake alone, 70 to 80% of Americans are low in magnesium, meaning you are not getting adequate magnesium when it comes to your dietary intake. That can be a problem on multiple fronts because now we know it's required for these 300 different processes. So if we don't have enough, you can see how things can start to get a little squirrely. Now, let's think about it in the setting of the immune system. We know that vitamin D requires magnesium for proper absorption into our body, as well as for vitamin D to be able to convert into its biologically active form to optimize our immune functions. So if we're low in magnesium, we know 70 to 80% of Americans are, just due to lack of dietary intake, then we have to consider, well, what should we be doing? Well, magnesium should be part of your daily routine. I always go through things when people say, well, what should I take every day? I kind of list just basics, a basic multivitamin. We know that our nutrients coming from our foods are not as dense as they once used to be. University of Texas did a soil study where they compared soil samples that they had from the 1950s and compared them to now. And our soil is not as rich as it used to be when it comes to different vitamins and minerals. So we know that we're not getting enough magnesium from our foods for the most part. So I always say a daily multivitamin to kind of cover those gaps. Then magnesium, vitamin D, an omega-3 fatty acid, probiotics, and something to support cellular energy production, something such as ubiquinol coenzyme Q10. So those are just the basics. But now let's look a little bit more at magnesium and how it actually is working when we think about the immune system. As I mentioned earlier, we know that things like zinc, iron, selenium, vitamin C, vitamin D are critical when it comes to immune function. But we have to consider the role that magnesium is playing. Not only is it working as a helping hand for vitamin D absorption, we also now know that magnesium plays a role when we think about our innate and adaptive immune system and the way that the body responds to different invaders, different pathogens, things like bacteria and viruses. And we know that magnesium has a really finite ability to target something known as NF-kappa beta. Once again, I'm not going to get into the heavy science of this, but what we know about NF-kappa beta is that this is a master regulator when it comes to the way that the body responds to inflammation. So if NF-kappa beta is driving fast forward, then we know we're going to have this flood of inflammatory cytokines, these different leukotrienes and prostaglandins. So if magnesium can help to kind of downregulate that, then we can keep inflammation at bay. So the less inflamed we are, the better off we are when it comes to a proper immune response. And then you tie that in to the relation with vitamin D. So this is why I always encourage people to have magnesium as part of a daily supplemental routine. Now, oftentimes the question will come up, what form of magnesium do I need and how much should I be supplementing with? And these are wonderful questions. We offer two different types of magnesium. We have magnesium citrate and we also have magnesium glycinate. Now, they are both elemental magnesium. They're just bound to different carriers. So the citrate form has a really nice ability to absorb quickly into the intestines, which can be very beneficial for people who are maybe experiencing occasional constipation because we want to get that magnesium in so we get more relaxation within the intestines. This can also be very beneficial for people who are maybe looking to decompress at night. And so taking magnesium citrate before bed oftentimes can allow for those skeletal muscles to become more relaxed. Remember, magnesium is utilized in so many different aspects of the human body. Then we have magnesium glycinate. Now, when we bind magnesium to glycinate, the absorption is a little bit slower, still absorbed really great, and this would be advantageous for someone who has concerns maybe with blood pressure, maybe if you have concerns with muscle cramps. But either way, both are going to be giving you an optimal amount of magnesium. Now, how much should you be taking? This is the million-dollar question, and people always ask me this. I always say start low and slow with your magnesium. And the reason why is because your levels as to how deficient or insufficient you are, most of the time are fairly unknown. So if you take too much magnesium, you're not going to be too happy because you may end up with some loose stools. So if you start with a low amount and you supplement based off of that, then you can find your targeted amount. For some people, they may find around 200 milligrams a day of supplemental magnesium is sufficient. For others, they may find that that number is much higher, maybe 800 milligrams a day. So it's going to vary from one person to the next. But do keep that in mind, that magnesium is needed for so many different functions, and it is so critical to the health of our heart, to the health of our brain, to the health of our muscles, our blood vessels, as well as for our immune system. So don't overlook magnesium when it comes to your immune boosting routine. Now remember, our stores are open and we do have curbside pickup available for you. Don't forget, we have our live video chat that is also available on our website, invitehealth.com. Be sure that you tune in to our radio programs daily, as well as our podcast, which you can find wherever you listen to your podcast or going directly to invitehealth.com. I will be joining you on Monday for more great information and tips. Thank you so much. Be safe, be well, and practice your social distancing.